think we're good to go now. Oh, hey. Honey bonjour, everybody. Welcome to the first council meeting of the 2022 term year. And yeah, I look forward to tonight's meeting. So we do have one regret from Councillor Mawasaki, but other than that, all the councillors are in attendance. And yeah, I call the meeting to order at 6:08. And thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you community for joining us, and thank you council for joining us. So my opening prayer slash opening remarks are, I hope that everyone had a restful break. And as we come into this new year, I hope the best for all the families, all the kids as they go back to school, and that everyone is safe as we face this fifth wave of COVID-19. And the Omicron variant. So I'm praying for all the families. I'm praying for communities and also all the communities right now that are facing outbreaks across their communities. My heart's with you, along with our prayers. So with that, everybody, council, your agenda is in front of you. So tonight's we don't have an operations report tonight, but we do just have some business to clean up from the previous council meeting and some membership items. So if I could please have a mover to accept the agenda as is, we can, and hang on here, I gotta switch it to gallery view because I can't see everybody. Hello. So if I can have a mover to please move the agenda dated for Tuesday, January 11th. Oh, moved by Councillor Owl. Is there a seconder? Oh, seconded by Councillor Commanda, thank you. And are there any opposed? Are there any abstentions? Seeing none, it's carried. And so are there any declarations of conflict of interest that we're talking about tonight? I don't believe so. And we have no community presentation. So community, as always, if you're interested to come before council to present something or anything really, you can just reach out to Lily, the political assistant, who will be able to work with you on getting on the agenda and ensuring that your issues or your things are heard. Okay. We also have an approval of previous minutes. So the previous minutes for December 14th are in the drive, council. If you could please review those and let me know if there are any excuse me, if there are any comments, changes, or things that we missed, pardon me.
I have it.
Yep, Councillor McLeod.
I noticed that I had mentioned that I wanted to see budgets and financial statements. I don't see it noted in our minutes.
Where if you can remind me where you mentioned that again, Councillor McLeod? Did you mention that underneath the director's report or under my report, just so that we could add it in for clarification?
The director's report.
Okay, so I will get Lily just to add in what you had stated around ensuring that we have the budgets and things like that ready, okay?
Yes, thank you.
No problem. Are there any other additions or changes that we need to make to the minutes? Okay, seeing none. Can I get a council member to move the minutes with the changes that Councillor McLeod had suggested? Oh, hang on here. Stop video. That's the start video. That is weird because it is saying that you have your video on. Councillor Johnston is here in the room. Her camera is just not working. I can spin it to you. Yeah, she is here. Okay. So is there any, sorry, is there any, you moved it? Okay. Councillor Wilma Lee moved the minutes and Shirley McLeod seconded the minutes. Are there any abstentions? Are there any no's? Seeing none, it's carried. Thank you, council. Okay, so this is actually from previous business meeting minutes. So the previous council, we agreed to back in the 10th, which is October. So October 20th, at the council meeting on October 20th, we passed a BCR that replaced the 2012 Dodge Ram 5550, which is the snowplow and our sander / spread for the band. And so we did approve of the infrastructure and housing department to get a new truck. However, we did not get the BCR signed due to the changes. So I'm just bringing it back to ensure that we've done our job on our end to just make sure the BCR is good. So I'm just coming back to council asking to reaffirm the purchase of the truck. I have the BCR here, so we can just sign it and it's done there. But I do just want to bring it back to reaffirm so the new council can sign the BCR because the old council is defunct now. So with that, are there any questions from council at this time? Okay, seeing none.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Where are they getting the money from, or how?
Yeah, so this was a minor capital minor capital adjustment. So we actually received the funding from the federal government for this funding. So I've been working with the finance team over the past 2 days to ensure that the money is being deposited into the account. That is approved. So Shirley, yeah, this is not, we're not dipping into any funds. We have received this as an additional capital fund. So that is, yeah. I just made sure we had the money so we didn't spend it before. I was thinking of you, Shirley. So yeah. So don't worry about that. And yeah, we have accounted for that. So it should be within the budgets. Okay. Are there any other questions from council at this time? Okay. With that, can I get a member of council to please move the updated BCR for the financing of the 2022 Ford F550 for 25% of the total price, which is just required for the deposit. Moved by Councillor Jack Trudeau. Is there a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Carrie Commanda. Are there any opposed? Are there any abstentions? Seeing none, carried, so good. That is good. Okay, so now I'll move on to my chief's report. I do have a letter that I do want to read out to community before I start my report, just based on all the things that are happening around. So if we can just take a few minutes, I can read that out and then we can move to my report, okay? So Ani Bojo, hello. It has been almost 2 years since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. It's changed how we interact and it's changed the way we live our lives. I know it's been challenging for many of us and for those around the world. Serpent River First Nation has been lucky, and you community have been diligent when it comes to the pandemic. Our members and businesses have done a tremendous job of keeping each other safe, and our band administration for continuing to provide services. This has been an across-the-board unified effort, and I know it will continue in the coming months. I want to acknowledge the issues because there have been many as we've navigated this uncertain time, and I understand that it can be difficult and frustrating not to get answers right away. Just know that our focus is on ensuring you are supported. As the community continues to navigate the pandemic, there will be disruptions to services, but we will ensure that they are temporary. So we are working to ensure, even as band staff and community members get sick, we are still able to provide the basic services and supports. Cases across Northern Ontario are continuing to rise, and we are seeing what uncontrolled spread looks like in some other communities, such as Bearskin Lake, and some of our northern communities, which are now seeing 50% of the population infected. Our thoughts and prayers are with you at this time. Serpent River First Nation, again, has done a good job on managing the pandemic, and this is a large part to your work and support. However, we are not out of the woods yet, and we continue to see cases within our community. The Omicron variant is very contagious, and we are currently seeing the cases, again, rising within our own community and area. This is a reminder that if you are feeling any symptoms or you're unwell, please stay home and contact the Kennebuch Family Health Center. This virus requires our movement to spread, and by reducing your contacts and outings to essential services only, you can protect yourself and family. Vaccines have been proven to reduce hospitalizations and severe illness, but they are one of many methods to protect yourself. Please consider taking the COVID-19 vaccine if it's available to you. And this is not a conspiracy. The virus is real. If you wish to remain unvaccinated, please take every precaution to protect you and your family. Wear a mask, wash your hands, and maintain a small social bubble to reduce the spread. I know some people see the rising cases as a failure of our vaccines, but that's not true. Vaccines were not meant to stop the illness, but reduce the severity of the illness and hospitalizations. And we are seeing vaccinated people get COVID, but the cases of hospitalizations are overwhelmingly the unvaccinated individuals. So please consider getting your vaccine. A sacred fire will be lit tomorrow, January 12th, and every Wednesday moving forward to provide a space for community to pray and to receive some comfort at the teaching lodge behind the Lifestyle Center. So that's just saying every Wednesday, the Culture Department will be hosting a sacred fire at the teaching lodge. So community members, you can gather. There will be some requirements around like groups and stuff, but please, that space is for you. And I do believe the female drummer, the women drummers in the community are drumming this Sunday. So look out for that. We will get through this and we will see each other again. We will cry together, we'll laugh together, and we'll share meals again. We as a community will continue on our journey of healing, growth, and new beginnings. And we may struggle, we may fight, but together as a community, we can weather this storm and overcome it. Our ancestors and elders were strong, resilient, and I know they're watching over us, praying for our health and well-being. Thank you. Thank you everyone for your patience and understanding as we work together to keep each other safe. The Chief, Council, and the EOCG will continue to meet to plan and make recommendations to keep you safe. We will rise above this and we will continue to show everyone that we are a community of caring and compassionate families. Be safe and be well. So I'm going to send this out in the mail, and at the bottom of it is going to be some phone numbers if you're feeling feelings of isolation or loneliness. I know it's a really hard time right now for a lot of people, especially just after the holidays, if you had to cancel your holidays and not spend time with family. So just please be mindful, everybody. I think we're all going through it right now. And we're all trying to do our best to keep each other safe. So that's my message to you. And I know this year is going to be much better than the last few, I hope. And together we can do this. So I just wanted to share that message with you today, community. And yeah, that's my message to you. Give me a second here. I'm pulling up my report. So this report's from December 14th to January 11th, and it's my Christmas break report and my January report. So Anisha Bojo, welcome community staff to the first Chief and Council meeting of 2022 and the beginning of a new year. These last few weeks have not been easy as the fifth wave of COVID-19 has arrived in Ontario and many people are in isolation and sick. Prayers go out to community members affected by COVID-19, and I wish for their speedy recovery and an end to this pandemic. So my focus has been on supporting the EOCG and band staff as we entered this wave. And I continue to advocate for additional testing, mental health supports, and childcare initiatives. So everyone is encouraged to self-isolate if you're feeling any symptoms. And again, reach out to the Kennebuch Family Health Center if you require any support. One small update is over the Christmas break, we learned that Ontario is appealing. The Supreme Court of Canada is appealing the RHT decision. So it's going to be going up to the Supreme Court of Canada. So I'll have an update for community on that as we learn more, but the RHW fight is not over and the Ontario government is trying to bring it to the Supreme Court. So I'll have an update for you on that soon, but yes. So again, my anticipated areas of focus are right now supporting and managing the COVID-19 as we're facing, and again, offering support to the admin as we navigate through this. So as we move into the new year, my focus will be switching to preparing for the new fiscal year, the budgets and the community comprehensive plan, etc. And my other area of focus is on the residential schools initiative, which I am happy to say has been approved by the federal governments and the provincial governments. So you will see a press release coming out soon once the other chiefs can review it, but we have received the funding for the residential schools and you'll see some job postings because we are going to be looking for some support and staff. So community, if you are interested in looking out for the residential school or interested in helping out with the project, look out in your community mail. There will be some job postings and also a start of our elders groups and our support groups for that too. So that's a big win for us. And I'm looking forward to the continued negotiations with the federal government on that project. So again, the meetings I attended were Monday, December 13th. I attended the IRS meeting with the federal government where they accepted the proposal tentatively. So I think we got $6.8 million to go over 3 years. So I'm really excited. So the funds will start flowing soon, but I just wanted to let community and surrounding partners know that we are going to be taking the next few weeks and months to continue the negotiations on the framework. So it's not quite done negotiating. There's some finer details that do need to come out, but we are going to be putting forth a communication plan and hiring personnel in order to move the project forward. So please watch out for that. I'm really excited to move this chapter forward. Again, I'm always attending the emergency operations control groups, and I did have a meeting about the Elliott Lake Act, which was very interesting update about that, and meetings on AI and digital governance, which don't really have to do with council, but I just wanted to share that. It's a cool initiative. And so we talked about AI, artificial intelligence, data health, and treaty rights, which was interesting. Christmas break was from Monday, December 20th to Monday, January 3rd. But again, I've had meetings all through the Christmas break. So we met, Serpent River, Sagamuk met with St. Joseph's to discuss the long-term care expansion project. So more engagement is happening on that. So community, don't worry, there's nothing happening on the project. We're just talking about it still. You're going to be engaged, you're going to be consulted. We're still working on that. So we are looking at long-term care expansion. I'm really excited to work on that, and I big ups to the health team for all of your work on that. We're still in the exploratory phase. That's why there's not some big announcement yet. We're just exploring it still. So yeah. Again, the EOCG met over the Christmas break, and I stayed in contact with the incident commander and moving through the cases over the Christmas break. And again, I had a second meeting with the IRS and Somia Sadiq of Narratives, and she's assisting us with the project. And so a framework proposal for the documents will be coming to council with an official press release coming out, hopefully by the end of the week, so that you'll be up to date on what's happening in community. So again, we've also met again with Sagamuk and Serpent River to talk about the long-term care beds and looking at putting 16 beds here in community. And today is the January 11th meeting, so we're back here. Tomorrow, I have a meeting with the RHC chiefs and the legal councils to discuss Ontario's appealing of the ruling, so I'll have more information for community at the next council meeting on that. And I'm also going to be working with the Benoji Odzwin and Oknageewin Technical Committee on child welfare law development this week. And also Chiefs of Ontario have a leadership meeting next week also. And there have been a few more meetings added to my calendar, which I will just update you on now, Council. So tomorrow I'm meeting, I have my Memo West Wing board meeting. So I'll be meeting with the Memo West Wing board to discuss health initiatives across the North Shore and seeing how we can support the 7 communities even further. And I have a meeting with the OKT, the lawyers, to discuss some items. Other than that, I also have a RHF forestry meeting on Thursday, which isn't in my calendar. So I apologize. Those were just some of the things that happened this morning through the week. So that's some updates on my end. Are there any questions for me, Council? I know that was a hurried report. So if there are any questions in regards to my report, I can take them now. Councillor McLeod?
I have a question, but it's not in regard to your report. It's just in regard to the funding agreements.
Yep.
Have we signed them all, and have we reviewed them and signed them all, like in the last year or so?
Yep. So there is an update on that. We are going to be passing one amendment tonight for the health accords, and I am currently working with ISC to get a list of all of the outstanding funding agreements that we do have to process because of just the way that they have them set up. So I will have that for you, Shirley, at the next council meeting in regards to our funding agreements. So yeah.
All right. Thank you.
No worries. Can we just add that into the minutes also, that to remind me to do that? Thank you, Lily. Okay. So are there any other questions in regards to my report, Council? Okay. Seeing none, if I can please then have a member of council to accept my report dated for January 11th. Moved by Councillor Owl. Is there a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Trudeau. Thank you. Are there any opposed? Are there any abstentions? Seeing none, it's carried. Moving on now, I will turn the floor over to the incident commander for emergency operations control update.
Okay, good evening, everybody. Do you have in the drive a copy of my report from this past week? And you just reminded me, Chief, that I really didn't put anything in there from the Christmas break. But Like the chief said, we were active throughout the Christmas break. The clinic was open 6 days out of the 10 that were scheduled for holidays, with staff rotating through. We did deal with a couple of positive cases throughout the break, so that kept us busy. We currently have 9. I know it says 8 on your report, but there are 9. There are 9 cases in the community right now. All of the individuals are self-isolating, being looked after. Ashley, the community health nurse, checks on them every day. We did have a bit of a scare at the clinic last week, and so in order just to reset and recoup everybody, we closed the clinic for 1 day and then opened back up again yesterday. So we do continue to meet once a week for the EOCG group and discuss different changes of whatever happens to be going on in the community. The EOCG is also updated when we do have positive cases in the community. I send out a message to everybody to let them know. I haven't had to call on the group yet for contact tracing or anything, but knock on wood, hopefully we remain that way. Community notice number 42, I believe, went out today, and that was just to give another update to the community about the number of cases in the community. Personal protective equipment, not much change in that department. We're looking into ordering some N95 masks, some more N95 masks, and the non-medical grade ones that are being recommended, or not non-medical, non-fit tested ones that are being recommended that be worn just out in the community, and also for staff. The GECA, there's a number of changes that occurred over the last couple of weeks in regards to staff having to be tested twice a week. So the staff at GECA and Sheila set up a nice little testing station in the basement of GECA. So the staff have days that they come in and they do the rapid antigen testing, the little take-home kits. So they do that twice a week. And any visitors that are entering the GECA, and it's not any visitors, I shouldn't say that, but any essential caregivers that enter the GECA have to be tested first before they enter as well. Let me see. Yeah, and then the restriction of visitors that are allowed into the GECA at this point for now. And it is being recommended or mandated actually that all staff of home and community care receive their booster dose. So we're working booster dose of vaccine. So we're working on that. And in the near future, the residents will also be offered a 4th dose of vaccine. So speaking about vaccines, we just received more vaccines today. And we'll be having a clinic, not next week, I believe the week after, and that's only because we are currently short of staff. And so Ashley needs a little bit of help to do those clinics, so it'll be in the week after. We did have a clinic during the Christmas break as well, where we gave out first, second, and booster doses again. So it went quite well, and it was a very busy day. So testing continues. We did get the rapid antigen testing, the take-home kits before the Christmas break. So those were offered to the community, and there were a number of community members that took up the offer and came in and got the testing kits. And we just received some more and have some more on order again to use over at the GECA for the staff that are having to be tested twice a week. And I think that's it. We still are doing, I know in the news, there's a lot about the PCR testing and the ID Now rapid testing that the 2 units that we have at the clinic. We still continue to do those testing just because First Nations are considered high risk. So we're still doing those tests at the clinic, and there are not that many instances right now where a PCR test would actually be required, but if it is, we are doing them at the clinic. And I believe that is it for me. Is there any questions?
I have a question, Leila.
Yeah.
I had a parent reach out. When is the next children's vaccine clinic? Are we going to be doing that, or will the parents be notified when they're out their
It
children?
could be, yeah, that same day. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So parents, if you still are, I think the eligibility is 5 years old and up.
Mhm.
Parents, if you're looking to get your vaccine for your kids going back to school, please consider that.
And we have we have a list, like a running list of individuals that are calling to get their booster shots. Still a few getting first shots, which is really good to hear. So yeah, Ashley will be, I'm sure we'll send out a flyer letting people know when the next clinic will be.
Perfect. Thank you. So are there any questions from council at this time in regards to the emergency operations report? Okay, seeing none, we're good on that end. Oh, we aren't good on that end. I'm reminding myself. Okay, we need to update the line of succession planning. So I'm just going to quickly, that's going to be a motion. So council, in the emergency operations reports, it currently states if I get sick as the chief, who then assumes chiefdom. And so under the under the old system, the chiefdom, I don't know what to call it, chiefdom. So my suggestion is that we just use what we did in the previous term, which is the order of council votes. So this would mean Wilma Lee Johnson would assume command, followed by Carrie Commanda. If Wilma Lee got sick, if Carrie got sick, Michelle, followed by Jack, followed by Steve, and then finally Shirley would receive chief if all of us got sick. So hopefully we don't get all of us sick. But I do just want to set that out and ask for an amending, a motion to amend the State of Emergency Act to allow for the new, I don't want to keep calling it the succession because that's not what it is, but yeah, the order of chiefdom. We'll come up with a better name for it, but if I can have a council member accept chain of command. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you. Oh my gosh, my brain today. So so updating the chain of command to reflect the vote list, and I just want to set a motion for that. So in case anything happens to me or a member of council, that is in place for INAC and other people to understand. Okay, so can I get a mover to move that change? Moved by Councillor Jack Trudeau and seconded by Councillor Shirley McLeod. Are there any opposed? Are there any abstentions? So the chain of command in the Emergency Act has been updated to reflect the current 2021-2024 council. Miigwech, thank you. Sorry, sorry, Leela. I was going to forget about that again. Okay, so moving on, we have no DOTM. We have no DOTM committee meeting reports. We have no business arising from previous minutes or reports. We have no standing items, but we do have some new business. So, Leela, oh yes, Shirley. Sorry.
Do we know when we're going to start our DOTMs, like our meeting?
Yeah, and I can update. I'm going to say February, so probably February as soon as we can get. The focus right now is on COVID, and I can update you a bit more in camera as we move forward. Okay, Shirley.
Okay.
Great. Oh, yep. Sorry. Thank you. Thank you. So can I please have a member of council move and accept the EOCG report? My apologies, Leela. Moved by Carrie Commanda, seconded by Councillor Jack Trudeau. Are there any opposed? Are there any abstentions? The EOCG report is carried. Thank you. And now I think I turn it back over to you, Leela, for amending agreements.
So the first amending agreement is amendment number 250025, and that's for our health transfer agreement 1718 Ontario ON 000004. And that amendment number 25 is to provide an extra $64,389 in additional funding for the home and community care one-time enhancement of $35,500, home and community care one-time digital health funding that we received, which was $24,889, and for NADAP recruitment and retention, which is an extra 4,000. So those are pretty standard. The digital health one we applied for, Sheila had applied for and received. The one-time enhancement is a one-time enhancement, and the recruitment and the retention we receive every year from Health Canada.
Are there any questions from council in regards to a funding agreement number 25, amendment number 25, sorry? Nope. So with that, can I please have a mover to accept the amending agreement of 1718 ON 000004, amendment number 25? Moved by Councillor Shirley McLeod.
I'll second.
And seconded by Councillor Wilma Lee Johnson. Are there any opposed? Are there any abstentions? Seeing none, the amending agreement is complete. So we have one question from council, Leela.
Yeah.
Who is doing the NADAP program right now?
It's divided up amongst a number of staff that are paid through Health Canada. So it's a responsibility of all staff to be doing drug and alcohol addictions programming.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
We can move on to amendment number 26.
Okay, so amendment number 26, and sorry, there was no briefing note provided for this one because we just got this information yesterday. So this amendment number 26A0026 provides an extra $196,244,000 in funding. So the first part is for mental wellness program, culture and emotional support. And that's for a one-time funding of $72,007. Then there's the home and community care one-time hospice-like spaces that we received for $110,000. And home and community care one-time e-health vaccine support of $14,237. Now the home and community care one-time hospice-like spaces, that was again something that was applied for by the community. And it was to fix up a space at the GECA in order to be able to provide the hospice-like care in that space. No work has been done or started on that yet because we're waiting for Health Canada to have a session, I believe it's next week, where they're going to be talking about what we need to do in order to get the ball rolling, what they're going to be looking for, those kind of things. So nothing has started with that yet.
Awesome, thank you. Are there any questions from council in regards to the amendment number 26? Congratulations on getting the hospice-like funding. That's exciting.
Yeah.
That's a big up. And I know that the mental wellness stuff is going to be really important as we move.
Yes.
Okay, congratulations. So is there any councillor that would like to adopt the amendment agreement number 26 for Health Canada? Moved by Councillor Michelle Owl. Oh my gosh. Is there a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Carrie Commanda. Are there any opposed? Are there any abstentions? Seeing none, it's carried. Thank you, Leela.
Yeah, and if those could get signed when you guys come together tonight, that would be really awesome because then I can get those sent off.
Yep, we will do that.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay, and let me see here. I'm just pulling up my agenda. Sorry. Okay, now we have a membership transfer for Bob Pine. This is in your drive, council. So Augustine, Adrian, Julian, Bob Pine is a member of Serpent First Nation band, and is moving to Sagamok. So this is just a accepting of transfer for him. So with that, it's before you, council. Is there a mover of council who would like to accept this BCR? Moved by Councillor Jack Trudeau. Is there a seconder? Oh, seconded by Wilma Lee Johnston. Are there any opposed? Are there any abstentions? Seeing none, this is carried. So We'll accept the transfer to Sagamuk. And let me see here. Okay, so there's an update on the governance training. So the governance training was to be in person. So we're going to postpone that until we can meet in person. So I don't want us to spend money on a virtual thing when I think it'd be much better in person. So we're just going to put the governance training on hold until we can meet again in a little bit, hopefully at the start of February or sometime soon. So it's not being pushed off far. We are just going to be updating that. Secondly, I will say that we do have a job posting coming out. So the community coordinator, which I think is the community COVID coordinator position. So we can still hire for this. Oh, no, I lied. This is for, this is the job posting. Yeah, I lied. So the Nisunaag partnership agreement between Mississauga, Serpent River, and Sagamuk. So I'm just going to update you community on this. So we're looking for a community coordinator or coordinators. So these community coordinators will support the residential school project. And we're looking for one community coordinator in each community to assist with important initiatives with survivors. So the community coordinators will be responsible for distributing notices for meetings, interviews, ceremonies, and other events, contacting survivors and informing them about coming activities, arranging catering, booking venues, helping where needed during community events, distributing event posters, other material, and performing other related duties when needed. And all we really need is a highly organized individuals with some multitasking abilities and to manage workloads effectively. If you have experience coordinating and scheduling, and if you're a little technologically savvy, because I think our survivors might need support on that with virtual meetings, we're looking for any members of the three communities, and your average commitment is about 2 days per week. So we're looking at about $300 a day with an average of 2 days per week. So it's pretty good support job. So community, so actually council, that's before you right now. I'd like to approve of the job posting so that we could send it out. And community, that was a little tidbit and a preview of what we're looking for. Okay. So are there any questions from council at this time in regards to this job posting? Councillor Trudeau.
Yes, thank you, Chief. I'm just wondering if there was a vaccination requirement on this job.
Yes, there will be. Yeah, it's a part of our, if we adopt it as a policy within our personnel policy, all of our personnel policies will be effective to this job posting. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Are there any other questions from council? It does not. So what I can do is I can get that. I will update it for the duration. The project is about 3 years right now. So we're looking at a potential 3-year coordinator position, but yeah. Okay. So I will update that just to make sure that we have a timeline on that for council. Are there any other further questions from council in regards to this community coordinator position? Seeing none, can I get a mover to accept the job posting? Moved by Councillor Shirley McLeod. Is there a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Michelle Trudeau. No. Oh my gosh, Michelle Owl. Oh, I know. I'm like I just like, geez, we gotta be careful as the chief. I just keep marrying people. I know. Right? No, my eyes. Okay, apologies. Is there a second? No, you're the seconder. Okay. Are there any abstentions? Sorry, community. That was just, it's been a long day. Any opposed? Seeing none, it's carried. So thank you for that. Oh, yep. Doesn't. I will also update that too. Yes, thank you. So we're going to mention duration and vaccine requirement. We're working with vulnerable populations. Yeah, that's right. Okay. So we'll update the job posting to reflect that. And that actually leads us to the end of today's meeting. I know it was quite short, but we're just coming back from the break. So with that, thank you for joining us tonight, community. I know it wasn't the longest meeting, but we'll be back in 2 weeks from now. We'll also be back updating you on any of the COVID-19 stuff tomorrow. So look out for our Wednesday Q&A session, because me and the incident commander will be there updating community on that. And yeah, so with that, can I get a member of council to adjourn this evening's meeting? Moved by Councillor Owl. And second, if there's none opposed, and seconded by Councillor Commanda. Yeah, I was like, if there's none opposed, we'll just adopt it by consensus. So with that, thank you, Tyler. Can end the meeting now. Thank you, community, and we'll see each other again on January 25th.
I'm on P.
Bon matin.